is a real tricky one. I'll be very honest, because H says you're not an agricultural use, and that one would be a real tough one to fight.
So F and G.
One or the other.
F or G? Or
F or G. F or G, because G is F but more. Think of it like that. So F or G.
G sounds logical then, right?
G brings them back to council after we already have the regulation, so that it's brought into a public forum. But like I said, I'm just adding a little caution to that, because by not permitting them in zones anymore and making them go through the public process, it adds an element of limitation. And that's what the ACMPR was created for in the first place, and it went all the way up to the Supreme Court. F solves the problem. Hopefully keeps us out of appeal, hopefully keeps us from going to court, and keeps the neighbors happy.
So if F would include site plan?
Yes.
Okay. That's what we need. Thank you.
Okay, Councillor Black again.
Well, now, I'm not going to say anything further. I'll just let it stand.
Okay. Columbus.
Yes, Matt, does F include a distance separation?
Through the chair, it would. It puts the onus onto the applicant to regulate themselves. If they choose to regulate themselves, like the Part 1 facilities, and add odor abatement, like some sort of a filtration system, then their buffer zone would be 150 meters. If they don't want to, then it would be greater than that. And so, for instance, outdoor growing, it's pretty hard to screen for that, so that would be the much larger buffer.
Okay, thank you.
Mayor Luke.
Matt, just very quickly, G, which is on the floor of the motion, requires any grower, producer at this level, not talking about the 4 plants in the house, would have to only be able to do that in this county by coming to this council for a zoning bylaw amendment, because it would not, G, allow, as we currently allow it in industrial and in agriculture, it would remove it from all the zones, so you'd have to come, regardless of what zone you wanted to put your facility in, or your grow op in, or whatever you want to call it, you would have to come to a public meeting, and it would be some money and time, and it would be in a public format. So that's the difference between G and F. Mr. Chairman, the question I have is, the odor is the big issue, in my opinion, based on the complaints that I've tabled. F will, along with D, which we've already approved, recommended to council, F will and D will address this, to me, number one issue of odor, correct?
Through the chair, that's correct. That's the
Yes,
intent of F.
And the only thing G has over F is G would force all operations to come to this chamber.
Through the chair, that's correct, including medical marijuana
Including the
production
type A
facilities.
or the medical marijuana,
Including
such as
everything.
everything. Thank you.
Okay, so far we have approved option D, and we have a motion for option G. We need a seconder for G. Okay, we have a conference going on here.
Okay, Matt?
Go ahead, Matt.
I just want to make this just clear for everybody in attendance. The direction that council is giving to staff tonight in regards to the options is simply just direction. This is not creating a bylaw tonight. This is not creating anything in our zoning bylaw yet. This is still going to have to go through a very open and public process. The next step would be in February to have a public open house, so a very public forum where we would discuss the options, discuss the direction council has given to staff, and then staff would prepare a bylaw and bring it back to council to make a final decision in March.
That's for D and G.
Yeah.
For D.
Gotcha.
For D and G.
That's for D and G.
For through Mr. Chair, for D right now, and the next option has not been decided quite yet.
G is we've had a motion, but not a seconder. So that, okay, Geisens has seconded. Any discussion on G anymore? All those in favor of G? That fails. Okay, Councillor Brunton. F, as in Foxtrot. Seconder, okay. Brunton has moved, Black has seconded. Any further discussion on F? Mayor Luke.
Yeah, I'll support F. I was teetering between F and G, but I'll support F. I think this is a very good start. You know, and again, as I said, it's a case of, you know, I'm not really worried about lawsuits down the way or anything like that. Some of these examples of municipalities that are in the comparison have taken it right out of the agriculture zone. And I'm not sure if they've been taken to court yet or not, but I certainly support G. And I want to make one other statement on supporting this. Mr. Chair, and I know that other councilors have had these comments as well, some, but I've had on more than one occasion people say to me, you know, you're putting a whole negative aurora around marijuana. Your comments about the odor, Luke. You're putting a black mark on the marijuana business in Norfolk County and the future of it. You know, I want to make it clear, and I don't speak for council, sometimes I'm forced to by motion, but I'm not now. I speak for myself, and I'm used to criticism. I've been getting it all my life, and so I don't lose sleep over that. But I want to make it clear that I have nothing against marijuana. Nothing. If in a few months everybody in Canada can grow 4 plants in their home and it's the law and it's legal, no problem with me. If you can grow legally marijuana for your medical needs and it's done properly, no, I have no complaints. But you know, when you have the right to do things that are legal, there are also sometimes restrictions. Let's look at cigarettes. It's legal. You want to have a smoke, it's legal. But that doesn't mean you can smoke in a restaurant. It doesn't mean that you can at 16 go in and buy a pack of cigarettes or 14 and smoke. There's responsibility. There's places you can't smoke. Drinking's the same way. Alcohol at a certain age level is a legal thing. Nothing against alcohol, cigarettes, marijuana. If it's legal by law, great. But there are restrictions, and that's what this is all about, is the ability to say, yes, you can grow it, but you got to do it in a way so that it's not affecting other people in the wrong way, in an unhealthy way. That's what this is all about. So it's not about whether, this isn't an issue about marijuana or not. Whether we have some restrictions here on where and how you grow marijuana, if it's done properly, there's jobs in the business, the jobs will be there. This is to address those people that really don't care about that house next door and the kids, and they're growing more than what they are required by their license because there's nothing in place to control that. That's what this is about. And that responsibility starts and ends at this table. So I don't know if what we're doing tonight, we're going to get our knuckles right. I don't think anybody here is going to go to jail. I'm not saying down the road things may not change, but the message is clear to the province and the feds. When councils start passing these types of requirements to address issues, I think the message will go upstairs. They have to be in place, otherwise it's the wild, wild west. Do what you want, how you want, because you can't do anything about it. So, and I just want to make that clear. I think, personally, I think there's a bright future for proper marijuana production in Norfolk County. I don't think that's a bad thing. I think that's a good thing. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Height.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I guess my concern with F is the site plan control side of things. Okay, like the province is asking us, or they're putting it through, and the feds are putting it through, and they're asking us to absorb the cost. Site plan control is not free. Well, we need to hire another planner, quite possibly. So are we getting any funding for that? No, we're not. Why are we doing it? Let it go the MDS route, July 1st, the bumps should work themselves out, and we're being a leader here. You know, one of the big aspects in the argument here, what we're really missing out on, and we haven't touched on tonight, is the cost for these sick people to have access to their medicine. They might not have $2,000 to go out and go into planning and ask for site plan control. It's $250 just for a pre-consultation. Probably their medical condition, they're not working. So are we going to send them over to health sciences or health services to get some poverty reduction funding so they can pay for their site plan to make to create their medicine that they want or need? You know, and Mr. Chair, you know yourself, if you could grow Viagra, would you really want to go into a planning department and pay $2,000 and ask them permission publicly? Probably not. So, I think it's just too much, Mr. Chair. I won't be supporting this one.
Through the chair, F would place these sites under site plan control.
Councillor Wells.
My own clarification, if you wish to grow 4 plants, you don't have to do anything else other than grow 4 plants. Am I correct? We are not restricting that for people who are ill.
Through the chair, we are not restricting that. You just have to adhere to the federal regulations. After July 1st. Don't grow it before July 1st.
Councillor Oliver.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I do want to acknowledge Councillor Height's a point about the cost, and I think that's a valid concern, but I would just remind my colleagues of what's in our information package on page 8 and 9 is the letter from Minister Charles Sousa, sorry. And I'm just going to quote one sentence in his letter. I would also like to confirm the province's commitment to engaging with municipalities on funding to help address the incremental costs associated with the implementation of cannabis legalization. So this is the kind of thing we'll have to argue our case with the province that we need some incremental funding to implement this, and I think that's a legitimate request.
Okay, I'm going to call the question on it. Councillor Columbus.
Yes, there's been discussion about the July 1st where someone can grow 4 plants per household, and those people that are contemplating that should be checking with their insurance policy, because some policies, many do, restrict or prohibit the production of marijuana. You're not covered by insurance.
Ooh. Another interesting point. Okay. We have a mover in Brunton, seconded by Black, that option F be adopted. All those in favor? That is carried. Mover for another option. We only have D and F. I thought H was necessary. No?
Through the chair, so the next step, like I said earlier, will be we'll be engaging the public in February with a public information session about council's direction and forthcoming bylaw. And then in March, likely near the end of March, we'll be coming back with a shorter report and a bylaw for council to make a decision on. And at a public meeting, yes.
Councillor Black.
So these, basically, this is just the start of it, and, you know, these are what we're recommending. The public will still have the opportunity to come forward. I mean, we could change it to address other concerns along the way.
Yeah, through the chair, that's absolutely correct.
Okay. Are we done with this? I think we are. I need a mover to move the recommendation in the report and these 2 items be adopted or approved.
Yeah, we've done that. It's just
We've done it?
Just that correspondence from the Derringers.
Oh, yes, we have some correspondence. All right. We have one communication item to staff report DCS 18-06 from Edward and Lynn Ann Dertinger. Can I have a mover and seconder to receive the communication item as information? Oliver and Geisens, all in favor? That is carried. Okay, we're going to go into closed session. We're going to make the motion to go into closed session, but then we're going to have a little break. Okay. Where is it? Okay, we need a mover and a seconder for the following. The committee move into closed session to discuss matters pertaining to personal matters about identifiable individuals, including municipal or local board employees. All in favor? Let's take a break and then we'll reconvene in closed session.
Did you have him move that? You moved and seconded that? It's okay, I'll just grab someone. I'll just get someone. They won't remember.
Every time I go up there, everything's aligned. It's awesome.
We're doing a race lots.
I'm sure of that. Which one of us are you eating? Well, so two people won the lottery. I was just wondering, are you going to tell me how many applications you got for the parents? Well, one person lost it, so we can talk to but so if you want to finish your answers,
Well, yeah.
there's some
Is that right?
They're already going to start.
Oh, is that right? Yeah. Just like you see it with tobacco. Very true.
that was salary range is 100,000 at some point. Yes, so the exact specifics are going to the report was June 27th of 17, so it's still second.
What's she making out?
So at the high, the lawyer was 76.92, which is far less than 20 hours. Forget the comparison. And that's, of course, it's every hour. Differential. I thought of what I was suggesting. It ultimately that's two caveats to it. The first is transition to that case because
I'm doing great. What's that?
it's absolutely the case that hour for hour obligation of like a third, quarter of the price. That is how we choose to utilize the stuff that we love you bill for and on. Would be open to future demand of council and some staff. So, we find we're getting more benefit. Specific policy advice or adopting bylaws opposed to going to the small claims court or MPOMP. Making our work paid for pre. Right, so it really depends how you deploy that resource. But getting rid of those caveats just hour per hour, sit there with the calculator for a while, you come up to roughly 20,000, and then that should fluctuate. Because it's, so some years you're going to be busy, other years you're so the you're saying for litigation, your assistance, the lawyer is less than at the high, you'll be asking for 76. So we pay $395. Don't hold it as that, but you've heard part of the case. That question. That 76 is well under more than that. So 76 is the high end. Yes. Okay. That's it. That's correct. See, I need to keep reminding you. No, it's fair. It's just a pleasure. Absolutely. Things like Norfolk County was the second largest municipality in Ontario, staff lawyer. Each of our last 2 years, so 16 way, including at the time I wrote the report, we had exceeded $500,000 spent, whereas we were budgeted was $370. So we enormously exceeded our budgets each last term. People have to. So I'm hoping we say 200 lawyers, we will still be spending 6 figures of external lawyers. Really the rough thing is the transition period. Outside people, need some adjustment. That's right. Well, he's going to help people. I wasn't kidding. Actually, I felt the same way when I started. It was more multiple skills. Oh no, this issue has a little bit of a history. Kind of explain, how people the knows of how the county has secured this service in recent years, and something tells me that having those lawyers really competing edge on a lot of that because some of them some of these people the current contract to expire somehow.
So in Jake.
Yes.
And is this a boy or girl? You don't.
We don't know as well, but 2016.
Yeah. Yeah, we didn't find out. Each their own. Oh, that's exciting. It was really nice. Yeah. We were off last week, so just the kids were off with work or school, so really nice. Actually, we're getting a puppy. Yes, we had. I lived on a farm, a tobacco farm for like 2 years. So I've had a puppy or like a dog, and we put our golden retriever down. We had her for 11 years, and we put her down in March. So this is the longest I could live. And now we live on a property that has about 24 acres, which is moving. So I really, really wanted it. So we went last week, looked at it, picked it up. Well, I didn't pick it up with pictures. No, I couldn't do that. The German Shepherd. Yeah.
Nope.
No, we can go right in. So, you'll have a brand new baby, you'll have a brand new puppy. I don't know, you might make out better than me. Puppies could
You're having a new baby?
Yes.
When? Oh, goodness, congratulations.
Just needs some help with one last contract, whatever. It saves $1 million. You really improve it. But just about it, a whole type of professional. It's not like we have 5 minutes and we got 6. Supplying the insurance here. Here we were totally, we had no bench strength and no bench strength. All the different. So these little so you don't make a call. You don't make a call. Minimum interaction. Yes. Yeah. You want us to answer a question over the phone, take up 5 minutes of our time. Sir, I'm not saying that's for the story. That's reality. That's reality. You know, it's like you call a plumber and he fixes a leak. Yes, he does. $100 for service.
Okay, you're going to read the, cool. Deputy Clerk will read the, what's come out of closed session.
Through the chair, it has been moved by Councillor Columbus and seconded by Councillor Black that staff report DCS 1808 Delhi Tobacco Museum and Heritage Center Advisory Committee appointments be received as information, and that Mary Jane Keeks be appointed to the Delhi Tobacco Museum and Heritage Center Advisory Committee to conclude November 30th, 2020.
Okay. We have a mover and a seconder. All those in favor? That is carried. Okay, I think that brings us to the end of our other than other business. Okay. We're going to start on the left-hand side of the room. Gentlemen, anyone over there with other business?
Through you, Mr. Chair, I do not have anything.
Okay. Kuchenkov? Okay. Mr. County Manager? Oh, we're moving right along here. Here's to you, Mrs. Robinson.
Well, I do have some things to report this evening. The Port Dover Harbor Authority report that had to do with the water usage and the billing, et cetera. We were to bring back a report in January. We've been unable to meet with the solicitors for the other group. We do have that meeting now scheduled for the end of January because that was the best time for their solicitors to meet with us. So that'll likely be early March before that report is back at council. I just wanted everybody to be aware that we are still moving forward on it, but it is delayed just trying to get everybody in the same room. And the second item that I have this evening is good news. We were just received notification yesterday, that we have won the 2017 Ontario Public Works Association Project of the Year Award for the Delhi Wastewater Treatment Plant Facility. And it's in the category of the historic restoration and preservation in the $10 to $50 million category. I wish. But I'm very pleased that we were the successful recipient of that Project of the Year. The annual conference, they will be giving that out. Unfortunately, this year the annual conference conflicts with our budget schedule, so normally we would ask the mayor and the ward councillor to attend, but we will be sending staff this year, as unfortunately we will all be here doing budget deliberation on that day. But I'm very pleased, and on behalf of Public Works, we're very pleased that council has the foresight to approve some of the things that we did that allowed us to be able to achieve this.
Thank you for that. I would have thought that the Cockshut Road project would have been the project of the year. I've had more compliments on that road. It's just amazing. Thank you. Ms. Miranda. Deputy Clerk, anything? Councillor Height, any other business?
Just a couple quick things, Mr. Chair. Am I able to get an update on the mini cab rental building? Is it rented out yet?
It is not. Council will recall that the future of that building, or a report on that, was one of the items approved for me to accomplish this calendar year, and I have 9 more months in which to accomplish that. So we're on the early end of that. It will be addressed and brought to you somewhere between now and October 2018.
Well, it's already been one meeting. But, okay, and then over the holidays, I'm sure everyone read that there was a dog that fell through the pond over in my ward. I think that made the newspapers. Well, it also made 5 fire stations respond to it. Yeah, they saved the dog, but the first station, I guess, got there, and they ended up calling back the other 2, so I'm not sure how much that cost, but just to give you an update, we might want to look at dispatch if you're sending out 5 stations. So that's it, Mr. Chair.
Councillor Black, you had something on what was said here?
On I guess it's the old Crown Attorney's office. I just know, that there is interest in it.
Good. All right. Councillor Geisens, anything? Councillor Columbus?
Few things. I have had several communications with residents about the proposed recreational vehicle parking bylaw that we talked about. I think we've all had several emails from different people that want to keep their boat in the side yard and different things like that. So I imagine we're going to be getting some flack about it. Some people seem to think that it's already been passed and approved and a done deal, but I keep assuring them that that's not the case. The other thing, with that money that we're supposed to be getting, Lee, the award, King Street, we've submitted an application to the province for King Street and James Street in Delhi. Notice there's some pretty big potholes that your staff keeps filling regularly now by the KFC. Where are we with that particular submission?
Through the chairman, we have not heard back from the province at this point with respect to that application.
Okay, thank you. And the other one that we've been getting